StraightallDay.com.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to be a more well-rounded person. Before we get into this, two things. First of all, my text number down below in the description. Secondly, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you get access to me as your direct coach. For those of you who are ambitious about your goals, you are serious about taking yourself from where you are to where you want to be, you want to do it as quickly as possible. I'm talking to you business owners, you entrepreneurial minded people, you people who are not okay with just being okay. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can see a lot of our receipts, a lot of our social proof of who we worked with, who we are working with now, and see how you can take your next step to be one of those people. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, link in the description. This topic today, how to be a more well-rounded person. All of us are familiar with this term. This is a phrase that we've all used before. You've heard it many times. And what we're going to do today then is dive into what this phrase actually looks, sounds, and feels like, and make sure that you fit the description, because I think most people would like to be well-rounded individuals, even if you are strongly focused and disciplined in your area of expertise. You still would like to be a well-rounded person. And as I explain this here today, you'll understand even more why being well-rounded is actually a good thing for you. So let's get into it. Point number one. Topic once again is how to be a more well-rounded person. Number one, gather a plethora of experiences from different aspects and angles of life. One of the things that rounds you out is that you have experience and you have done things and you know things and you have seen things in more than one aspect of life, not just the area in which, let's say, you are most professionally competent. So don't limit yourself to just one particular space. So if you're a basketball player, you can't only know about and only be able to talk about basketball, because then you can't really offer anyone else anything in the conversation unless they happen to also be interested in basketball. So this is an important one to be understood by those of you who are deeply focused in your particular area of work, business, research, expertise, etc. if you want to be well-rounded. Now, if you're okay with just only knowing about your subject and therefore you can only talk to people in that space, you can disregard everything I'm saying here. You actually only need to listen to this episode. But if you are interested in being a well-rounded individual while still being focused in your area of expertise, you need this. And while I'm on the subject, let me explain to you why it's good to receive material or have understanding or be paying attention even at times to things that are completely outside of the realm of what you do, is because you want to have a diverse set of resources. You want to have eclectic, what we call eclectic input. I did a whole episode on this. That was episode number 2830. Eclectic input. Why to get info and insight from unique sources. All right. One of the reasons is because sometimes you can get information and an insight from somewhere that has nothing to do with what you're doing. But if you borrow the idea from over here and you bring it over to another place, you can find that there's a brand new opportunity there that you otherwise never would have come across had you only focused on what you know. So if you're a doctor, for example, and you only focus on what other doctors say and reading medical journals, then you may never stumble across the great idea that might come from the automotive industry, that if you borrowed the concept from what people do to cars, you could apply it to human bodies. But if you never looked and you never listened, then the breakthrough can never come to you. So this is the reason, one of the reasons why you want to get eclectic input. And this is important to be understood, again, by those of you who are really focused in an area. I'm not telling you to stop being focused on your work and not excel at what you do. What I'm telling you is that if the goal is being more well-rounded, you must get experiences, information, and consume material from outside of your myopic area of focus. In other words, look for ways to be even more of a generalist by consuming things that go outside of your normal areas of, again, consumption and information. A practical reason why this matters, I just gave you one that you may get an idea from a different industry that applies perfectly in your industry. But the other reason is, if you ever do something like go to a networking event or to some type of dinner, and you're sitting around other people who are not from your industry, how are you going to have a conversation with them? Let's say you're a computer programmer and the people sitting next to you, one of them is a college professor, the other one's a professional soccer player, and the other one's a financial advisor. How are you going to have a conversation with these people if the only thing you understand is computer programming? That's the only thing you're interested in is computer programming. You have nothing to offer the conversation. And again, you never know what one of those people may be able to do to help you if they found you an interesting person. But someone can't find you interesting if you can't even converse because you don't know anything other than your area of focus. What if you're there with your significant other and you're just trying to help your significant other look good? So you need to present yourself in a positive light, but you're a complete nothing in the conversation because you're only focused in one area. Therefore, you can't even converse. So your significant other, when he or she goes back to work on Monday, and they had to deal with the colleagues that you couldn't have a conversation with, your poor performance reflects badly on him or her. And now your spouse is in a worse situation because you couldn't deliver and make them like a smart person by choosing you as a partner, because you're a person who can only talk about one thing and nobody else at the table cared about that one thing because you have no diversity of thought, no diversity of opinion, no diversity of resources that you are taking in from, which leads to your lack of diversity of thought and diversity of opinion. All right, so someone else at the table. I mentioned you have people at these other spaces. Can you talk to them about what they care about? And again, it doesn't mean you need to be an expert like them. So if you have other people at the table, you got a college professor, a pro athlete, a financial advisor, you got a podcaster, you got a content creator. Okay, can you have some kind of conversation that shows you know something about what they do? That you've paid some attention to other areas of life outside of your own to where you could have a useful discussion with a person like that? What kind of conversation would you be able to have with any of these people that I just mentioned if all of your knowledge is only focused in your area of work? You're a computer programmer and that's all you know. You have nothing to offer a podcaster, content creator, a relationship coach, financial advisor, professional athlete. You can't offer them anything because you're not even interested, therefore you can't be interesting. And again, you never know where the next great idea may come from. It often comes from somewhere that you're not looking, simply because you were out and available and your mind was open. So what kind of conversation can you have with someone who's not in your space? You would have, in the scenario I've given you, if you just stay focused on your space, you have nothing to add to the conversation, which would make you an uninteresting person to these individuals. And being that life is what it is inevitable that you will eventually find yourself engaging with people who are not focused on the same things that you are engaged in or focused on. So you want to be armed to be able to engage with these folks. And one way to engage with people is simply by getting good at asking questions, but your questions need to be informed questions. Not just any question, but informed questions that shows you have some idea, some semblance of an idea of what that person is about. So if someone tells you they're a relationship coach, you need to show that you have some semblance of an idea of what that is, how it works, and why they do what they do. Doesn't mean you need to know it as well as they do. That's probably impossible. Someone's a podcaster. Again, you have some semblance of an idea of why that matters, so you can engage with these folks. Moving on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how to be a well-rounded person. Number 2, meet, engage with, and get to know a lot of different people who have experiences in different areas. This goes right along what was said in the first point. The more people you engage with who have different experiences from you and different focuses and different expertise from you, the more you can learn from them and deposit what you get from them into your own knowledge bank account, so to speak. The more knowledge you can get from other sources, the more you have to choose from when having conversations with others. So you should know people and have acquaintances, friends, and connections from as many different areas of life as possible, as you never know, first of all, when you may need certain things from certain places, and you want to be one of those resources for them. Well-rounded people have well-rounded associations, well-rounded networks, and a well-rounded circle of friends. So other well-rounded people who meet you will want you as part of their associates because they don't know anybody who works in computer programming. So it's good to know you, and they want to add you to their circle because you bring something to the table that they otherwise would not have access to. You understand? So you want people who bring things to your circle, and you want to be a value add to other people's circle. So you should know at least one person who is knowledgeable and well connected in each of the following areas. I'm going to list a few of them out. Medicine and health, the legal area, such as police officers, lawyers, and judges. Politics, whether an elected official or someone who works with or around elected officials. Finance and money, such as bankers, accountants, financial advisors. Marketing and sales, These are areas where if you live long enough, you will eventually need some help in every one of those spaces. And that's why you want to know people who are deeply entrenched in these areas. So just in case you need to make a call, you have someone you can call. And again, you want to make sure that you are continuing to develop your game and your expertise in the thing that you do, so that if someone ever needs help or a reference or some information or have a question about what you do, they can call you because they know that you're a person in an area and they know that you know your stuff. They know that you're being thorough about learning and you're continuing to work on your game. So you become valuable just by existing when you know people in other spaces. Now, how can you become a valuable circle member of someone else's network if you never go meet another person and find out that they actually are looking for someone like you in their network? And if they know everything that you know, then you probably wouldn't be a valued person in their circle. So it's not going to be one of your colleagues. It's going to be someone who's from completely outside of your world, but you need the people skills and the communication skills and the interest in other people to let them add you to their circle and then allow you to add them to your circle. But again, you got to do all these things in real human engagements. And also, you want to make sure that you have something to offer in a conversation with these people. All right, so meet, engage, and get to know a lot of different people who have different experiences in different areas. One way that you can do this by doing things like going to events. I go to events all the time. I go to 2 to 5 different events every single year. There'll probably be years in the future where I go to like 20 events, or I'll just be on an event kick. But I always go to events, and one of the reasons that I do, I was looking at this event that I'm going to be going to in early 2025. By the time you hear this, it's probably already 2025. That this event is a business and marketing and sales conference that I go to all the time, and the person running it has just announced who's going to speak at the event. It's probably going to be anywhere from 10 to 20 speakers at the event, and they did a video just talking about it. And I was about to watch the video to find out, but the video was very long. It was like a 3 hours long webinar that this person did. And I said, I'm not watching a 3 hour webinar just to find out who's speaking. And I like skimmed through the video to see a couple names. I saw a couple that I expected, but generally the point is, for me, I don't care who's speaking at the event. All right, I don't care who the speakers are because for the most part, I don't really listen to them, not that much. And at this stage in my career, in this particular aspect, now there are other events where I'll listen to everything the speaker said. This event is not one of them. I go to this event because I want to meet the people, not the speakers, but the attendees. I go to the event so I can meet other people and hang in the lobby and make connections and get reacquainted with old friends and make new friends. That's the reason why I go to this event. I'm telling you all that to say this, that you want to stay engaged in as many ways as possible, and ideally in real life with different types of people. And you can find different types of people within a certain framework. So if I go to a marketing event, everybody's there to find out more about marketing, or they're involved in marketing, but everybody is marketing different things. There's a lot of different things in marketing. You can market coaching, you can market sports training, you can market therapy, you can market cars, you can market food trucks, you can market hotels. There's a lot of different things that you can market. We all have a common thread that we want to learn or get better at marketing, while at the same time we have a diversity of specific focuses. So this is one reason why I say one place that you can go is to events, because at events you deal with a lot of people who are from differing backgrounds, but the one thing they have in common is that they want to learn more about whatever subject is being touted at the event that you're going to. So this is one reason, another reason for you to get out the house and get around other like-minded people. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to be a more well-rounded person. Number 3, read, listen to, and watch material on many unique and divergent subjects. This connects to the example I gave earlier about you being at a dinner party with people who are not from your line of work. What will you be able to engage these other people with if you never engage in anything other than your content area of focus or work, your current area, of focus or work? You should know what, at least on a surface level, is happening when it comes to things like politics, health, medicine, sports, local area events, anything that the general masses of people might be paying attention to. You should know something about it. I don't say you got to spend your whole day reading about it and talking about it, if that's a bad use of time, bad allocation of your resource. However, you should know something about what's going on so that you can have somewhat of an intelligent discussion with one of these people who does pay attention to it a lot more than you, just in case you need to hold a conversation. So anything that the general masses of people might be paying attention to, you should have an idea of what's going on. Again, you don't have to write a book about it, but you should have an idea of what's happening. Now, while I continue to advocate for you not following the masses, or do not follow the masses, there are some things that the masses pay attention to that you should know about, because it's inevitable you will engage with some people who are part of the masses. All right, the masses are the masses for a reason. They outnumber everybody else. So eventually you're going to engage with someone who's part of the masses. So you might as well be equipped to have a good conversation with them, because again, just because someone's part of the masses does not mean they could not be beneficial to you, nor does it mean they may not know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who may be beneficial to you. And if you leave a positive impression, then it only further encourages them to go and share what they found out about you with somebody else who might be the type of person who you do need to meet. So know what's happening in these areas: politics, health, medicine, sports, local events. Now, again, do not copy the masses, but there are some things you can borrow from the masses' behaviors that can help you. So the things that the masses are paying attention to that you should know about is inevitable, because as I said, you're going to run into one of these people. And you never know when one of them may come in handy for you, or you may come in handy for them. So while you should continue to avoid following every activity of the average mass person, that doesn't mean that you should know it doesn't mean that you should not know what's going on and what they're engaging with. All right, don't try to be like them, but you still need to know what they're doing and what they have going on, because it keeps you informed. As a famous speaker Zig Ziglar used to say, he said, every day I read a little bit of the Bible and I read a little bit of the newspaper. And the reason why is I want to know what both sides are up to. All right, and this is the point that I'm making here. You need to know what everybody's up to in your space. All you got to do is find out what the masses are paying attention to. Get enough of it that you can hold a little bit of a conversation, a cocktail party level conversation, and then you have fulfilled your duty. You can move on. Hopefully, you ask enough questions that were interesting enough that that person remembers you and they don't forget you as soon as you walk away. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is how to be a more well-rounded person. Number one, gather a plethora of experiences from different aspects of life. This means go and actually do things. Do different things, go different places, meet different people. Every time you do something new, go to a different place and meet a new person, you are increasing your circle of experience in life. And the more experience you have, the more well-rounded you will be as a person. Point number two, meet, engage with, and get to know a lot of different people who have different experiences in different areas. Again, the more you engage with these people, the more you can learn about their stuff. And the way you engage with people is by simply asking quality questions. And number three, read, listen to, and watch material on many unique and divergent subjects. Even if it's a subject that you may not be that interested in, you should at least know what's going on in that area, so you have an idea of the way maybe people might be thinking, what they may be reacting to, responding to, what everybody is talking about, and maybe how to strike up a conversation with the average person. If you know what they're looking at, then it's pretty easy, right? Because you know what the average person is always looking at. So as it is inevitable that you will engage with some people who are part of the masses, you never know when one of them may come in handy for you, or you may come in handy for them. So this is why building relationships with people is never a negative thing. It's never a bad thing to build more positive relationships with more positive people who are going somewhere. So again, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't know what's going on and what the masses of people are engaging with, because you're going to run into these people and you will have to deal with them. You cannot avoid them because there are too many of them. All that said, folks, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Have me as your direct coach, get access to all of our trainings and courses, and get direct access to me as your coach live on calls. You're going to get a live number where you can text me as well. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Link down below in the description. Work on your game. Dre all